Imagine climbing a mountain wrapped in snow. The temperature is -30. The air is thin, every breath a fight. Your heart races, your fingers go numb, your thoughts blur. Step by step, you move higher, into a place where even life itself feels fragile. Each step sinks deep into the snow. The sunlight reflects off the ice, blinding you. It feels as if the mountain itself doesn't want you to look up. You are already in the death zone. Here, oxygen is so scarce that your body slowly begins to shut down. Above 8,000 meters, survival becomes a matter of chance, not strength. Ahead lies the most dangerous section of all, the bottleneck, a narrow gully beneath hanging towers of ice called seracs, ready to collapse at any moment. Everyone who passes here knows, one wrong move and you stay forever. K2 is the second highest mountain on Earth. It's lower than Everest, but far deadlier. On average, 1 in 7 climbers never returns. Unpredictable weather, avalanches, and rockfall make it the true savage mountain. Among those who challenged it was Mohammed Hassan, a porter from Pakistan. On July 27, 2023, he was fixing safety ropes for a commercial expedition organized by Lila Peak Expeditions. That night, as climbers moved through the bottleneck, an avalanche swept across the slope, knocking him down and breaking his oxygen mask. He was left exposed, gasping for air, in a place where the cold alone can kill. Cameras captured him lying on the trail, begging for help. More than 50 climbers stepped over him on their way to the summit. No one stopped. Sorry for the brief interruption. As you listen to this story, please take a moment to support this project. A simple like or a comment helps more than you might think. It keeps these human stories alive and helps them reach others who care. Thank you for being here. Let's continue the story. Some people see mountains not as obstacles, but as challenges, a way to test what lies beyond the limits of human will. Fredrik Eriksson was one of them. Born in northern Sweden, where winters never end, he spent his life chasing the quiet pull of the peaks. He didn't just climb mountains, he skied down them. In 2003, he skied from the summit of Ismoil Somoni Peak in Tajikistan. A year later, he became the first Swede to ski from the top of the 8,000-meter Shishapangma in Tibet. But his true obsession was K2. In 2009, he attempted it with his friend, Michel Fate. At 6,400 meters, Fate slipped on ice and fell to his death. Eriksson watched his friend vanish into a 1,000-meter void. The tragedy haunted him. A year later, he came back. On August 6, 2010, Eriksson joined Gerline Kaltenbrunner and Bruno as they prepared for a summit attempt. The wind was fierce, the cold brutal, but Fredrik refused to turn back. At the bottleneck, while securing protection in the ice, a rock broke loose from above and struck him. He fell 1,000 meters to his death. Kaltenbrunner later said, "He died doing what he loved." But mountains don't care who you are or how much you dream. When rescuers found his body, his skis were still strapped to his backpack, a quiet symbol of a dream he never let go. Tadeusz Piotrowski was a pioneer, a climber who sought the impossible. His journey began in the Polish Tatras. Then came winter ascents of Trollrigen, Noshak, Tirikmir, Rakaposhi, and Api. He climbed where others turned back. In 1974, during an expedition to Lhotse, his teammate Stanislaw Latalo fell into a crevasse and died. 9 years later, another partner, Andrei Belun, vanished on Api. Yet Piotrowski kept climbing, as if the mountains had already claimed his soul. In July 1986, with Jerzy Kukuczka, he completed the first ascent of K2's southern face, a route later called the Polish Line. Reinhold Messner called it suicidal. They reached the summit, but the descent became deadly. Exhausted after 2 nights without food or water, Piotrowski lost his crampons and fell to his death. His body was never found. Kukuczka himself would die 3 years later on Lhotse. Mountains do not choose who to take. They simply take. Winter 2021, the Karakoram Range. 3 climbers set out to do the impossible, climb K2 in winter without oxygen. Chilean Juan Pablo Moore, Icelander John Snorri Sigurjonsson, and Pakistani national hero Ali Sadpara. With them was Ali's son, Sajid, just 21 years old. Moore was already a legend, one of the first Chileans to summit Annapurna, and the first person ever to climb both Lhotse and Everest within a week, without Sherpa support or bottled oxygen. John was the first Icelander to summit K2. Ali had conquered 8 of the world's 14 8,000ers. On February 4th, the team left their high camp. The temperature dropped below -40. Near 8,200 meters, Sajid's oxygen regulator failed. He had to descend, a decision that saved his life. The others continued. The next morning, radio contact was lost. Pakistani Army helicopters searched for days, but no one was found. 5 months later, Sherpa teams discovered their frozen bodies high on the mountain, close together near the bottleneck. Moore lay below as if waiting for the others. Sajid later returned to bury his father and his friends. They died doing what they loved. The mountains took them, but they didn't win. K2 is called the Savage Mountain, not because it's the highest, but because it's the most honest. Here, nothing hides the truth. Experience, fame, money, none of it matters. The mountain doesn't care who you are. It only decides whether you belong. Hundreds have reached the summit. Nearly 100 never came back. Their bodies remain on the slopes, frozen in silence, eternal sentinels of ambition. Each came here chasing something: glory, peace, redemption. But K2 cannot be conquered. You can only touch it for a moment before it takes something back. The stories of Mohammed Hassan, Fredrik Eriksson, Tadeusz Piotrowski, Juan Moore, John Sigurjonsson, and Ali Sadpara remind us. Strength is not just in reaching the summit, but in remembering why you climb. Every step on K2 is a conversation with eternity. Sometimes, eternity answers with silence. When the wind howls across the ridges, it carries the voices of those who once climbed too high. And maybe that's the real meaning, not to defeat the mountain, but to face it and understand, before it, we are all the same.